looking. He's going to go long and deep. Beckham's out there. He's got it in the end zone. Touchdown, OBJ. Mayfield gives Chubb Benson right side, and he's in and over. Touchdown, Nick Chubb.
I think that's going to build confidence for us, and us playing complementary football with the defense. The scary part is if we start clicking and keep getting better, it is going to be a fun ride.
Oh boy, it is a connection we have all been waiting for. Guys, I have to say, I think Baker Mayfield may have heard his name in your mouth this week because he came out on fire last night. All right, everybody, welcome on into First Take. What's going on? It is Friday. I'm Charlie Arnold. We got Stephen A. Smith, which we're going to address what you're wearing in just a second. We have NFL analyst Ryan Clark and also Max Kellerman. So, Stephen A., look, you got a Falcons jersey on, and interesting who they're playing this weekend.
Well, you know, Southern Stephen A. will respectfully address this subject a little bit later as the show progresses. But what I would like to inform you both about, Ryan Clark, Charlie, obviously Max Kellerman, what I'd like to address with y'all is the fact that I did not go out and buy this jersey. I showed up at work yesterday, and lo and behold, ESPN had informed old Southern Stephen A. that the Atlanta Falcons actually sent me this jersey with my name on the back and everything, okay? They sent me this jersey. They sent me this jersey because they have asked that I wear this jersey before their game this Sunday against those Dallas Cowboys, because they know how I feel about them disgusting, nauseating Cowboy fans across America and across the world. So they asked me to wear this, and I guess even though I'm no Atlanta Falcons fan, I am a fan of the ATL. Let me be very, very clear about that. And so as a result,
What would that be?
I figured I'd wear this. But I'm going. No. That's Lemon Pepper Lou. I mean, he went to a particular establishment in ATL, which I must admit I have frequented in the past. But that was a long time ago. Okay, that's not recent. Okay, but in the end, I am a fan of the ATL. So because of that, and the ATL was on the front of this jersey, I figured why not? I'd add this to my impeccable wardrobe and see where it goes. I'm going to add a little bit more to my wardrobe as the show progresses, but for this particular segment, I'll just leave the
You're going to be in
Trolling of Cowboys fans
by the end of the show,
legitimately.
Stephen A.
Oh, my goodness.
Excuse me, Charlie.
Right.
Excuse me, Charlie.
Okay, well, yes.
I'm saying I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you at all. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's talk about that old Baker Mayfield right there.
Let's go. Let's talk about him. He came out on a whole different level last night. He was completely turned up. It was a Baker Mayfield we were all waiting to see. He led his team into the battle for Ohio against the Bengals, and it was a smooth 35-30 victory. Baker throwing 2 touchdown passes, including that 43-yard bomb to Odell, and 3 rushing touchdowns added to that offense. On the other side, number 1 overall pick Joe Burrow showed great poise. He threw 3 touchdowns of his own, but the night it belonged to the Browns. Okay, this was a very, very big difference from what we saw from the Browns last week when they faced the Ravens. After last night, Stephen A., do you have faith? Is it now restored in the Browns?
Hell no. I mean, this is one of the most ridiculous subjects. Listen, y'all. I understand that Baker Mayfield. Listen, I watched the exceptional analysis of Ryan Clark last night and this morning specifically. I understand everything everybody was saying. Listen, Baker Mayfield looked good. He threw the football relatively effectively. He was scrambling out of the pocket and extending plays. He was doing things reminiscent of what we saw when he won the Heisman Trophy at the University of Oklahoma. We get all of that. Kevin Stefanski, that's what he was brought in there for. As the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, some of the things he did with Kirk Cousins, some of the things that he noticed. He utilized his knowledge about Baker Mayfield doing his homework on what worked most effectively for him. Standing in the pocket doesn't cut it. As Ryan Clark articulated when I saw him on television, if you scramble him out of the pocket and he's able to create plays that way, it buffers his level of confidence once he's ultimately forced to stand in the pocket because he got himself going. He's a rhythm player, etc., etc. I get all of that. Here's my problem, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my problem specifically with all of y'all, Ryan Clark, all of you NFL aficionados. Who was he playing? Who was he playing? Oh, my God, stop the presses. Baker Mayfield has returned because he performed against the Bengals. Really? Really? That's why we're excited? So you get romped. You get stomped. You get beat down just 4 days earlier by a Super Bowl contender and one of the worst teams that we know of in the NFL today, reminiscent from last year, and by the way, the year before that. That team, with that franchise, with a coach in Zach Taylor that was coaching special teams before he ever arrived in Cincinnati. I'm sorry, we're supposed to get excited because Baker Mayfield showed up and showed out against a rookie quarterback who, by the way, is going to be a star in this league in Joe Burrow, a rookie quarterback playing for an absolutely moribund, pathetic football team. Zach Taylor, I'm going to give him a chance and assume that Cincinnati's going to be on the uptick, that they'll get better. But one of the reasons is because they can't get much worse. So guess what? The fact that you supported, that you showed up against the Bengals, we're supposed to get excited. And then, oh, by the way, I'll end it with this, Max and Ryan. This dude actually had the audacity, the nerve, the unmitigated gall to go in front of the cameras and like, I'm not going to forget. Basically I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not going to forget. You know, in the Baker Mayfield family, we don't forget when people count us out. Really? Against the Bengals? Seriously? Y'all go ahead, man. Let me drink my tea and just listen to y'all because it's just a waste of time for me to talk about what he did against the Bengals. Who cares? Who cares?
In a 16-game season, this is not baseball or basketball normally, with so many dozens and dozens and dozens of games. Each game is a significant piece of evidence. It doesn't mean we put it to bed concerns about Baker Mayfield, but this is a positive piece of evidence. Yes, he wasn't as good late in the game as he was early, got a little sloppier. All that is true. Yes, he's playing the Bengals. They're the worst team in the division. That's why they picked first overall in what should be a really, really tough division if the Browns can even mostly play up to the potential on their roster in terms of their talent. That's all true. But you still got to evaluate what you saw. Like play action, which I don't know why the more play action you use, the better your fortune seems to be. Rolling Baker out worked. And he looked really good. He was exciting. He showed leadership. He made the plays he needed to make, and then some. He won the game. And Stephen A., he played, if you just eyeball test it, you look at a guy and say, is that an NFL quarterback? Yes, that's obviously an NFL quarterback. Is it a starting quarterback? Yes, that's a starting quarterback, what Baker Mayfield showed last night. Is it a franchise quarterback? That remains to be seen. You're right. Against the Bengals, with no preseason, only their second game, that remains to be seen. Joe Burrow, by the way, to quote Eddie Murphy from Coming to America, that boy good. Like, you can see Joe Burrow is going to be really good. He has it. But I'll tell you what, Baker Mayfield, once upon a time, looked like he had it too, and you can't pretend he didn't regain some of that last night, and that he didn't restore at least some of the confidence that many people had, I certainly had, in him when he was drafted, and I thought he was correct. I was surprised he was picked number one, but I thought it was the correct move. Stephen A., who do I shout out in terms of analytics about football more than anyone else? Sharp Analytics, right? Warren Sharp. I remember when they hired Stefanski, right, Warren Sharp was talking about the fact that Stefanski is the perfect coach for Baker Mayfield. And I recall it had something to do with not being too predictable in personnel packages. I think the 11 personnel packages got too predictable. Whatever the X's and O's were, he broke it down analytically and said Stefanski and Baker are going to be a really good combination. Don't be surprised if they were competitive for a playoff spot. Now, whether that's overshooting the mark or not, that stuck in my head. And watching him yesterday reminded me of it. Yes, Baker is on his fourth head coach in 3 years in the league. 4-3. Alex Smith couldn't get it going until he had some stability once upon a time. Another #1 overall pick who looked like a bust. Baker Mayfield looked like a bust. Who wouldn't with 4 head coaches in 3 years? Now, part of his underperforming is probably why you had a turnover in head coaches, no doubt. But when you're playing for new head coach, new system, new OC, year after year, you have to cut him some slack. And last night, he looked good. That is a nice piece of evidence if you're a Baker Mayfield fan.
Listen, last night was not about Baker Mayfield being who John Dorsey drafted him to be. It was about Kevin Stefanski being who the Cleveland Browns hired him to be. Because that was the whole point of this. That's what Warren Sharp was talking about. Not necessarily that Baker Mayfield had some things that we needed to see, but that Kevin Stefanski could bring the best